Very much event is one of the highlights of the diplomatic calendar, and I would want to encourage the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration to make this an annual event. Such a forum will give our ambassadors and high commissioners the opportunity to share and to exchange views on issues that are critical to the development of our country. The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has keen interest in Ghana's internal and external engagements, and hence his constant support to the ministry in its efforts to enhance economic diplomacy. We've been participating in major programs organized by the ministry, such as the Chief Director's Policy Dialogue, the Second Stakeholders Conference, and the Ghana-EU Dialogue, and I encourage the ministry to continue on this path. I understand that you've had the opportunity to interact with ministers of state, including the senior minister and the honorable ministers of finance, trade and industry, planning, among others, on pertinent national issues, such as our current economic and social developments in Ghana and our national development agenda. It was very crucial that the ministry included in the program interaction with the regional ministers to understand the opportunities that exist in the regions to enable you promote their investment potentials to prospective investors and other economic actors in host countries. I believe that you have had a fruitful conference and that useful conclusions have been drawn which will help us move our country forward and enhance our international efforts for the benefits of our dear country and citizens. I would like to thank Honorable Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey, Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, the Deputy Ministers for Foreign Affairs, the Chief Director, and the entire staff of the ministry for their excellent work. I also want to thank each and every one of you for the useful exchange of views and sharing of experiences, candid conversations, and your commitment to promoting our country. I wish to reiterate the important point eloquently made by His Excellency the President in his keynote address on Monday, that your contributions in your respective countries of accreditation, as well as the countries of concurrent accreditation, should complement the efforts of the government to transform and develop our beautiful country. We are aware of the efforts you are already making in this respect, and we commend you for that. But we are not oblivious of the need and urgency to do more if we are to achieve the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. Within the 2 years of being in office, and in its desire to significantly transform the economy, we have introduced a number of initiatives to industrialize and transform our economy. Our conclusions since coming into office, of course, coming into office 24 months ago, we inherited a very bad situation. That one is clear to everyone. Deficit was out of control. The economy could not even sustain statutory payments. We canceled, or the previous government canceled, teacher training, nursing training allowances. You all know the story. It was a very, very difficult situation that we inherited. But we made the decision to quickly change tack, bring and restore macroeconomic stability, and try to move the productive sectors of the economy forward. And at the same time, try to change this economy to a more formalized economy. We've been operating since independence in a very informal way, and we've thought that we needed to change the way we were doing business in this country. So you'll see that in the area of the macroeconomy over the last 24 months, very significant improvements have been made. We've brought down the deficit by more than half. We've brought down inflation to single digits, we've brought down interest rates, we've increased economic growth. You've seen agricultural growth go up from 3-point-something% to 8.4%. And you're all witnessing the large amount of food in the markets. Food is not the problem now. It's storage of the food that is the problem. And so there's so much that is going on to get the real sector of the economy moving. The projects that you've heard about, that you are seeing, the one district, one factory, the planting for food and jobs, the one village, one dam, all of these projects are coming on stream. And we expect that by next year, a critical mass of these projects will be in place. We are also embarked on a formalization of the economy. This is what I call the digitization agenda. And that formalization is taking place at a breakneck speed. This is why we are making sure that we began the issue of national ID cards. We will make sure that that process finishes next year. The NIA will be coming to all our missions abroad to issue the national ID card to the diaspora as well. So that one is very, very important, and you can communicate that to our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. It's very, very important that they are all going to be captured in the national ID card. But with that, we are building a major database, because with that, your NHIS card, your SNIT, everything will be on one database. And that will form the basis of a digital economy that we are putting together. We've done the digital address system, and for those of you who have not yet downloaded the Ghana Post GPS, I ask you to do so and test it before you go, because it can take you from A to B very easily. You have both an online and an offline version, and every 5 by 5 square meter of land or water in Ghana now has a unique address. And when you use it, it's like a satellite navigation system. It will get you from A to B anywhere in the country. And Ghana Post has begun deliveries. I mean, if you just give your digital address, GTXYXY, that's all you need. They can bring you your parcel straight to home, even if it is in a kiosk in the middle, of Agbogboloshi. If you are in a kiosk in the middle of Agbogboloshi, it will bring you that parcel there, and it is quite fascinating. The IMF managing director was here, and when we spoke about what we were doing, she said, "You know what? You people are going way above many European countries." And he was saying, because the president was going for the EU-AU dialogue in Vienna on digitization. And he said to the president, "You people can teach some European countries about digitization." And the president said, "Can I quote you?" She said, "Yes." He said, quote me. But we've begun a process where the national ID is taking place. We should finish it by next year. We've done the digital address system. What we are trying to do now is to actually put the plates on houses so that people can know exactly as you pass here, this is the digital address for this particular house, and that is the next phase of it. We've done mobile payments interoperability. It sounds a mouthful, but that just means that mobile accounts have been made interoperable with bank accounts. That's the simplest way, that you can move money from mobile accounts to bank accounts and bank accounts to mobile accounts. It sounds simple, but it isn't. Ghana is the first country in Africa to do this. The first country. You have mobile interoperability in Kenya, but it's only between the mobile companies, not with bank accounts. Here is between the mobile companies as well as with bank accounts. It's a major thing. Why? Because you have 34.5 million registered mobile account users in Ghana. 34.5 in a population of 30 million. So all of you have more than one phone. Right? But with 34.5 million mobile users, most of whom don't have access to regular bank accounts. Once we have now made the bank account and the mobile payment interoperable, it means that you can move money from a bank account to anybody, and anybody can use the mobile payment to make a payment into a bank account, whether it's a bank account for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get a passport, or a bank account for paying for your taxes. You can easily use the mobile payment. So the interoperability, what it has practically done, is giving everyone with a mobile wallet practically a bank account. And it has moved Ghana, therefore, into an area of financial inclusion rather than financial exclusion. This is the first country in Africa that has done this, and it's now going to be a standard. I gave a speech in Stanford earlier this year, and people were just shocked at the business school how Ghana was able to do this, because the banks generally resist this sort of innovation, but we had to twist their hands a bit. But they were very cooperative. They were very, very cooperative, and we were able to do this, and it has put Ghana. And so with this, you will see that the budget in 2019 set a goal for the second quarter. We are moving very quickly, that this now allows government to receive payments and make payments without cash, electronically. If you come and you want to make payment to a government for any service, if you don't have a bank account, you can use your mobile account. And so now from the second quarter, if we follow our program and implement it, we will no longer have cash receipts within the government system from second quarter next year. It will all be electronic. And this will allow us transparency and accountability. Sometimes people pay for something and it doesn't really get into the government account. There's a lot of privatization along the way. And so today, I mean, if you look at even going to obtain a driver's license, we've gone for smart driver's licenses. There are digital driver's licenses, digital vehicle registrations. We've looked at the process of issuing passports. You've made major strides there. Now you can go online, download your form, pay for it, and all of that. It's doing very well. Yesterday I launched 2 initiatives for the National Health Insurance, which is the mobile renewal. If you want to renew your NHIS, you no longer need to go and queue for days in some of the districts just to renew NHIS. Now you sit in your room, and within minutes or seconds, you just put in your number and make the payment with your mobile account, and pronto, it has been renewed, and then you move on to your other businesses. And so we are moving for every agency. We want to digitize the whole processes. We've digitized the process of clearing goods at the port. We abolished the long room. We reduced the examination of containers from 16 agencies. 16 agencies needed before to examine one container. 16. You mean you have to pay 16 different people? When we examined it, we said this doesn't make sense. So we've reduced it from 16 to 3. Yeah, 16 to 3. And we abolished the long room. It was a very long room. If you go to Tema, you would know the long room. Very long room. We move one desk to the other. When we looked at the processes, it was all nuisance. You could automate all of those processes, and we've done exactly that. And so the process of clearing has really improved, and the business community, you'll hear Ghana winning awards for its paperless system. Last year we won a few awards, and we moved up in the ease of doing business due to these paperless reforms. But you will also hear, and we are taking very good note of it, as you meet our diasporans, our citizens abroad, people complain about high import duty. And it is something that we are seriously looking at, because as a government we haven't increased import duty. This is one of the interesting, we haven't increased any import duties, but somehow importers are complaining, and there's a major discussion. And if you heard the president yesterday, this question was asked. So we are going to be looking at this very issue, because our view generally is that the lower the duty, the higher the volume, the more we will get revenue. That is the sense. That is what economically makes sense. So we are going to be taking another very serious look at this issue, because it becomes critical for our economic progress. And so the president has tasked us to take a look at what really is going on, and we can see, and some work has already been done in this direction, and we are going to try to go forward to do it. So I think it's very important. So the whole digitization agenda is going to really give us a new Ghana, and it's not something that is far off in the horizon. It's something that we are expecting that by the end of 2019 we will be seeing the elements of this new Ghana once you have your national ID card in place, your address system in place, interoperability in place, and so on. It will allow us to be able to identify people, track whether they are credit-worthy or not credit-worthy. Is very important. Banks need to know that to decide whether to give you a loan at what interest rate. We are also moving very quickly to digitize our land registry. Buying land in Ghana is a major problem. You buy 2 or 3 times and you still don't know whether you bought from the right person, because everybody is claiming ownership. And so we've decided that we held a conference, an international conference, brought expertise from around the world. It was very clear, looking at Ghana, that in some countries, even in Uganda, in Pakistan, if someone offers you land, you can go to the internet online, put in the necessary coordinates, and it will come out immediately who owns that piece of land. So there's little, in terms of litigation. It's like a car. You go to the DVLA, you know who owns the car. But we don't have that in Ghana. The last time we did a base map survey, for which all of this is based, was in 1974. 74. And we are trying to use this 1974 base map survey to do land transactions in 2018. It doesn't fit. One land surveyor said it's like you've sewn a dress for your 2-year-old, and the 2-year-old is now 40 years, and you are still trying to fit this dress onto this 40-year-old. It wouldn't work. So we are doing a new land survey in the first quarter of next year, 2019, a new base map survey. We are putting a lot of the nation builders graduates into the various land registries to begin the process of digitization. And the end result, what we are hoping, is where you be given a piece of land and you will know that this land belongs to A, B, C, just by going online and doing it. And it's where we are going. So the digitization agenda is very much on course, and we are doing things that we should have done since independence. We haven't done. These are new things that we are trying to bring and change what we are doing. And it is creating a lot of interest in our country. We've launched other initiatives, the Nation Builders Corps, where we hired 100,000 graduates. And that is major, 100,000, and we made sure every constituency in the country had at least 350, all the 275 constituencies. And so you deal with your problems. Some of them are going to be teaching, some are in nursing, some are in the digital agenda, some are in the agri-extension services, some are with the local authorities, some are with enterprises, just industries to go and get some work experience and so on. But it's a major initiative. And as I said, it's the largest public sector skills training program we've had in Ghana in the last 50 years. It's major. It's 100,000 people that would otherwise be sitting at home. So we're doing a lot. Of course, the free SHS is come in, and it is making a huge impact. So if you look at what we have done, and if you listen to what the president said yesterday, they gave an account of the first 2 years. It's a very good account of what we have done. I think sometimes we are not communicating. we are not communicating as well, so for the people to understand what really we have done. I think that is a feeling we all have to admit responsibility for, because if you look at what we inherited and what we have done to date, it's very significant, because if you take a family, someone whose child could not go to senior high school because they couldn't pay the fees, and we all know them. In fact, all of you, when it was time for admission, the demands from your relatives and friends and strangers were very massive. We need school fees. For every single child who is going to boarding school, the parents are saving 2,000 Ghana cedis a year, 20 million in the old cities. Some have 2 children going to senior high school. That's over 3 years, that's 6,000 Ghana cedis. 120 million if you have 2 children. That's major savings in your pocket. Major savings in your pocket. For people who didn't have teacher training allowances, that we have restored the teacher training allowances, that is major money in their pockets. Their lives are easier than when they were before we came into office. The people who get free SHS, their lives are easier than where we were. The farmers who are getting subsidized fertilizer for food, their lives are easier than where we were when we came into office. The graduates who used to be in the Graduate Unemployment Association, right? You know of that association? Yes. Today, they are in NAPCO, right? 700 Ghana cedis a month. Their lives are easier than when they were, what it was when we came into office, isn't it? So there's so much, the National Health Insurance was collapsing. Arrears of 1.2 billion. We inherited 1.2 billion from 2014, 2015, 2016. We have cleared all those arrears. So we have resuscitated this national insurance, health insurance scheme, which was collapsing, getting back to cash and carry, and we have brought it back. So people who are interacting with NHIS are having a better experience today, and it's easier than what it was when we came into office. So there's so much that is going on, as I said, but we really need to communicate. And we are thinking, and thanks to a lot of you, we are thinking outside the box also, to try to leverage our natural resources to get money for development, infrastructure. You've all heard about our Sino-Hydro deal with China, where we are leveraging some of our bauxite resources for a $2 billion barter facility, which we are going to use for infrastructure. That is a major thing, and I would like to thank Edward Boateng, the ambassador to China, who has worked so hard on this, and we have worked very hard together because of the different times between China and Ghana. When he thinks it's the afternoon, I'm sleeping at night, and he's calling me. But it's innovative. We are getting $2 billion of infrastructure. Our bauxite reserves are 900 million tons, right? At market value, raw, we are talking about $50 billion. But if we process it and refine the bauxite, we are talking of 350 billion, right? So you take this and say, we want to be build an integrated bauxite and aluminum industry to refine the bauxite. We no longer want to be shipping raw bauxite abroad. So we want, Sino-Hydro to give us a facility, and we reach an arrangement that we will find a partner to refine this bauxite, and after that we will pay out of this refined bauxite. That is how simple the arrangement is. It has never been done as far as China and any other country is concerned. When I went to China, I proposed this. It was something they had to think about, but I think after a lot of discussion, they ended up coming to agree that it could work. So today we are about to get the Sino-Hydro moving when all the conditions are met, and you will see a massive increase in infrastructure across the country. And we are not talking of next year. We are not talking of 3 years, 4 years. We are talking of next year. We are starting the process of construction. Across the country, every region, even Anyaso Otum has not been left out. Yes, we want to see, because this sort of situation where you're always looking for money to do roads and so on, but if you can leverage your bauxite and be able to get it done, it's a new way of financing. And we have to now look at other ways of doing these sorts of things. So we are really moving. We are really moving. There's a lot that the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is doing, and we will have to communicate this better and better and better. But we will try and do that as we go forward. So I'll just want to thank all of you again for the work you do, and because it's not easy work. But I also want to tell you that we stand ready, because sometimes, one of the problems you also have at your end is information, to know what is going on, so that you can tell people. I don't know what WhatsApp platforms you are, but we should be ready to give you a lot of information. So from the point of view of the economic management team, we are ready. If you want a liaison officer on your WhatsApp platform, we'll put one of our staff there just for information in case you need. Because we do a lot every week. The economic management team meets weekly, every Tuesday. We are meeting every week to deal with issues. And so if there is a need for any information, you can always just send a message. Can you explain what is going on here, A, B, C, D? And we will get you back that information very, very quickly. So I thank you very much, and I thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I believe that this government is going to change this country. The Akufo-Addo is going to change this country. So I thank you. God bless you, and God bless our homeland.